Okay, let's start the chapter. Okay, so in this chapter, we'll talk about motivating employees. So far, we said in the management function is a planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. We are in this stage of motivating employees. Now, what can manager learn from motivation theories? In this chapter, we'll talk about motivation theories, and what can we learn from the motivation theories is basically we wanted to know that the fact that we wanted to recognize the individual differences. We also wanted to match people to jobs, individual rewards, how we're going to do that, link the reward to performance, check the system equity, and use the recognitions also, and don't ignore money. So it's basically what a manager learned from motivation theories, these points, and try to um, put cause and effect and understand the correlation and, to reach to these results. Now, what is motivation? Motivation means is willingness to exert high level of effort to reach organizational goal and conditioned by that effort's ability to satisfy some needs. So it is a personal willingness or individual willingness to put high level of effort to reach organization goals, but there is some rewards for him too. Now, effort means here is a measure of intensity or a drive. Then we would see the need is actually personalized reason to exert the effort. So if you have want to put effort, there is a need, and if need is about personalized reason for exerting an effort, and together the effort, its motivation works best when the individual efforts and needs are consistent and compatible with organizational goals. So if the individual needs is compatible and his effort is also compatible to the situation, then probably is best situation. Now, there is theories that early theories and contemporary theories. The early theories, they use a Maslow's hierarchy of the need theory, McGregor's X and Y theory, Hertzberg's motivation hygiene theory, and McClelland theories of needs. Now, Maslow is pretty much in use in the psychology. Human needs can be categorized into 5 levels. That's how Maslow sees it. Individual must satisfy the lower order needs before they can satisfy the higher order of needs. Satisfy need will no longer motivate anymore. Once you're satisfied with that need, it no longer motivate anymore. Motivating a person depends on knowing at what level that person is on the hierarchies. And it's about, if you look at it, he starts from the bottom, you need to satisfy the physiological needs before the safety needs triggers. And once this is satisfied, the physiological need, and the safety need is triggered, and no more this into the concerns of individual and moves to the safety. Same thing, once is this satisfied, is the social need triggers. So for example, the physiological need could be food, drinks, shelter, sex, sleep, other physical requirement that's need. Now it comes to the safety. Once you have all these physiological needs and you're seeking your safety. Security and protection from harm, assurance that physical needs will continue to be met. So when you're hungry, you look for food, you don't look for safety. Once you are safe, once you ate and satisfied, have, ate and enough, then you probably start thinking of the safety. That's how they see it. Then once the safety is satisfied, there's an extra, a new need shows up, which is called the social. And the social is about affections, belongingness, acceptance, friendship. This is the social thing. And then comes in this theme, which is the internal self-respect, autonomy, achievement, and external, like the status, the recognition, the attention. And the last thing, once the esteem established, is the self-actualization, which is you want to have a growth, achieving potential, self-fulfillment, be all you can be, as a comment they say. This is how Maslow looks at it. Now, so there is what you call external, which is physiological and safety, and there is the internal, which is the social needs, the esteems, and self-actualization. Another theory is called the theory of X and Y, and it's basically divided people in two types. McGregor had two distinguished views of a human nature and how to manage it, and it says there is a theory X. Employees have a little ambition, dislike the work, avoid responsibilities, and require close supervision. This is one approach by management toward the employees, utilizing theory X. The other type who's utilizing theory Y, and its employee can exercise self-directions, accept and seek out responsibilities, and like to work. That's another style of another management approach. Now, the third type of theories that you see managers utilize it is the Herzberg two-factor theories. And it's about intrinsic factors are related to a job satisfaction. What satisfies you and what dissatisfies you? They are two separate things that, as Herzberg sees it. Achievement, recognition, responsibilities that causing job satisfaction. Supervision, policies, relationship, working condition that cause dissatisfaction. So what causing job satisfaction is different than what causing the job satisfaction. And that's what you sometimes see people that they're not satisfied, but they're not dissatisfied because they have the supervision, right policies, right relationship, working condition. That's the kind of a government job, but they're missing the achievement, recognition, and responsibilities sometimes. So what he's saying is a motivators and hygiene factor. Hygiene factor, if the company implement them, it will take away the job dissatisfaction. But it does not give a job satisfaction. What it gives a job satisfaction is called motivators, like achievement, recognition, work itself, responsibility, advance, and growth. So he's separating these two from each other. And if a person in the middle has eliminated all hygiene factors is natural. So improving hygiene factor does not necessarily make a job more satisfying. And then you have McClelland's three needs theories, and he said they're acquired, not innate. It's acquired needs that motivate work performance. And what are they? Need for achievement. So the drive to succeed and excel in a relation to set the standards. They need to do some achievement. The need for power, which is the need to make others behave in a way they may not have otherwise. The last thing is what you call the need for affiliation, the desire for a friendly and a close interrelation or interpersonal relationships. We're done with the old ones or the classic ones. Let's look at the contemporary theories of motivation. The contemporary theories, one of them is called the goal setting theory, the four drive theory, the equity theory, the expectancy theory. And keep in mind, a good manager, understand if he has the situation, which of these theories can fix the problem for him. So if he understands the difference between equity and expectancies, he can utilize one of them in a different in this certain situation. So let's see the goal setting theory, what it talks about. It's basically there is goals. The goals could be specific and also could be difficult, challenging goals. Now, these caused by, first of all, goals are public. Everybody knows about them. Individual has internal locus of control, and self-set goals, internal. Now, it's committed to achieving and is accepted by the participations in setting. So it's accepted and it's committed to. There must be some kind of a self-efficacies and national culture who help you to generate these goals. These are two together, plus the high performance and goal achievement needs, and they all generate the intention to work toward the goal, which is a motivation. So self-efficacies, national culture, high performance plus goal achievement, and goals which is set up by already, that can give you that motivation to work. Then you have what you call a four drive theory and describe motivation in four categories. A drive to acquire. You're seeking for material goods, status, accomplishment, and power. You drive to acquire these things or combination or some of these. Then you have what you call a drive to bond, which is engage in a mutually beneficial relationship. There's a drive to learn. So satisfy your curiosities, understand ourselves and the world around us, understand why this is happening this way. Questions like why did company policy that way? That's a drive to learn. And a drive to defend, which is that's what you call a self-protection. So these are four drive theories. The four drive theories, it could be all of them, some of them, or a combination of them, but it's basically there is a drive to acquire, a drive to bond, a drive to learn, and a drive to defend. And all can be motivators. So the motivating comes in, but this motivating has its own influence, environmental factors and personal factors. Environmental factors like social norm and past experience in that situation. The personal factors is a mental models. So you are ready, excited, hyper, feeling that it's you're doing, and personal values also. That all can be influencing certain behavior to reach that goal for you. We'll explain what it means organization implication on the four drive theories: a drive to acquire, a drive to bond, a drive to learn, and drive to defend. We'll go through these points quickly. Then you have what you call the equity theory, perception of fairness. Is it fair? An employee compare their job's input to output ratio with that of relevant others. So how much you're putting in and how much you're getting out, and whatever you're getting out, comparing with the relevant others, probably your colleague. So if the ratio are perceived are equal, then the state of equities is exist. They're equal. If you input that you put in an outcome comes out as a ratio, and you compare it to your colleague, and it's the same thing, then you say there is equity. So it's basically as a perceived thing. If the ratio are perceived as unequal, inequities exist, and the person feels under or over rewarded. Not all inequity or equity is real. It is the individual perception that determines the equity of the situation. And then what you have, that's basically equity theories. You have the expectancies theories. Individual act based on the expectation that the act will be followed by given outcome and on the attractiveness of the outcome to the individual. So he looks at if he does X, he's expecting the outcome to be Y, and then he looks at the Y, whether that is attractive or not. So expectancy theory includes the three relations there. One is expectancy, effort, performance linkage. So how much effort, if I put, how much performance is going to happen. Secondly, instrumentalities. So once I put effort, performance, and that performance will convert to certain reward. And the third part of it, balances, like how attractive that reward it is. So if we look at it differently, it's like this. There is, you sit and think about individual effort. So when I put that individual effort, it should be converted to individual performance. And how it does is effort performance linkage. So that much effort, it does individual performance that much. And that individual performance, you usually link it to instrumental, which is organizational reward. And then whether that reward is attractive or not. Sometimes they tell you you're not going to get anywhere. Actually, they think this is a broken between individual effort and individual performance. Sometimes they tell you, well, you're not going to be recognized. And that break between individual performance and organizational reward. And sometimes somebody comes in and says, whatever you're doing is not worth it. And that really is organizational reward connected to individual goals. So these are the process of expectancy theory. Expectancy theory is concerned with the perceptions. It does not have to do with anything. Reality is not irrelevant. It's not there. Whatever you are perceiving, an individual's own perception of performance rewards, and goals outcome, not the outcomes themselves. How they view that outcome, whether how they value it, will determine their motivation effort. If they evaluate really high, that determines the somebody will looks at it and says, no, that's not worth it. That does not motivate them. But somebody who looks at the same thing and really sees lots of value in it, that's how they determine that. So in the expectancy theory is a step to increase motivation using expecting how I'm going to motivate people about that. It's first you improve the expectancies. So improve the ability of the individual to perform. Make sure employee have the necessary skills for the task, provide training, assign reasonable tasks and goals. That's the expectancy from your side as a manager and for the employees. Improve the instrumentality. Increase the individual belief that the performance will lead to reward. And that observe and recognize the performance, says this is a good job, eventually you're going to get this, deliver the reward as promised on time, indicate to employees how previous good performance led to a greater reward. And then you need to improve the balance. Make sure that the reward is meaningful to the individual. Basically, you ask employees what reward they value most. Holidays, extra salaries, a break, whatever they reward most. And give that reward, give the reward that are valued most. So back to the first slide, what can manager learn from motivation theories is be able to recognize the individual differences, match people to jobs, individual rewards, link rewards to the system for equities, use recognition, and also don't ignore money. Thank you.